The next episode is 28. We have been talking about our duties, our dharma, and Gita's main purpose, Shri Krishna Bhagavan's main purpose and the specialty, if you want to call, in relation with Upanishad is what we call Karma Yoga, or helping sansaris or the worldly people what their duties are and how they can improve their life. Karma Yoga is then the center of the central teachings of Gita, along with knowledge and other yogas that we will be talking about. Akirtincha api bhutani kathayishanti te avyayam sambhavitasya cha akirtim maranat atirichyate. Slok 34. We continue what Shri Krishna Bhagavan is telling Arjun while he is refusing to perform his duty, very holy duty to keep order and peace in the kingdom, which he is now refusing. He says, the world also will ever hold you in reprobation. You were honored one time, people honoring you, they thought of it very nice of you. Now they will talk evil words and it will cause you disrepute. And of course, disrepute for or defaming of a person is worse than death. This is very important, that we don't do anything in life, we don't miss out our duties that would cause us disrepute, and we would be put to shame, that being a human being, and we are honorable people in life. Human beings are the best creature God has made, and that we should not lead a life that would cause us or people pointing at us that here is a man who did not live like a human being, but his life was animal or he was ignorant. So Arjun is also warned, some sort of admonition, trying to arouse in him the dignity, because a person like Arjun, who was totally an idol or ideal in the society, all of a sudden, if he acts in a manner that he would lose his reputation. And sometimes we do care for our reputations, in the sense that reputation will help us not to do things that will bring disreputation. In other words, if people honor us, then we'll be afraid of doing evil things, and to that degree it is good enough. We are not talking about reputation that to increase your pride, but that if people think that you are a nice person, a dependable person in the society, then you certainly don't want to be found drunk on the road or behave in a manner that will cause you later on to hear things that you would not be very proud of. So Lord is somehow trying to remind Arjun that he should not act like a child. Bhayat ranat uparatam mansante tvam maharathaha yesham cha tvam bahumatah bhutva yasyasi laghavam. And even your own compatriots, your colleagues, the great chariot warriors, they will believe that you have withdrawn or you want to withdraw from this war out of fear, that you are now afraid. You are talking so big about yourself that nobody can win against you the way you came and entered this war. And now the way you are behaving, people certainly will think that there is something wrong, that there was always a fear hidden in you, and that all this time it was only saying that we will be incurring sin if we don't listen to God and if we don't practice what He is trying to say. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. The next episode is 28. We have been talking about our duties, our dharma, and Gita's main purpose, Shri Krishna Bhagavan's main purpose and the specialty, if you want to call, in relation with Upanishad is what we call Karma Yoga, or helping sansaris or the worldly people what their duties are and how they can improve their life. Karma Yoga is then the center of the central teachings of Gita, along with knowledge and other yogas that we will be talking about. Akirtinchapi bhutani kathayishanti te avyayam sambhavitasya cha akirtim maranat atirichyate. Slok 34. We continue what Shri Krishna Bhagavan is telling Arjuna while he is refusing to perform his duty, very holy duty to keep order and peace in the kingdom, which he is now refusing. He says, the world also will ever hold you in reprobation. You were honored one time, people honoring you, they thought of it very nice of you. Now they will talk evil words and it will cause you disrepute. And of course, disrepute for or defaming of a person is worse than death. This is very important, that we don't do anything in life, we don't miss out our duties that would cause us disrepute, and we would be put to shame that being a human being, and we are honorable people in life. Human beings are the best creature God has made, and that we should not lead a life that would cause us or people pointing at us that here is a man who did not live like a human being, but his life was animal or he was ignorant. So Arjuna is also warned, some sort of admonition, trying to arouse in him the dignity, because a person like Arjuna, who was totally an idol or ideal in the society, all of a sudden, if he acts in a manner that he would lose his reputation. And sometimes we do care for our reputations, in the sense that reputation will help us not to do things that will bring disreputation. In other words, if people honor us, then we'll be afraid of doing evil things, and to that degree it is good enough. We are not talking about reputation that to increase your pride, but that if people think that you are a nice person, a dependable person in the society, then you certainly don't want to be found drunk on the road or behave in a manner that will cause you later on to hear things that you would not be very proud of. So Lord is somehow trying to remind Arjuna that he should not act like a child. भयात् रणात् उपरतं मंस्यन्ते त्वां महारथाः येषां च त्वं बहुमतः भूत्वा यास्यसि लाघवम्. And even your own compatriots, your colleagues, the great chariot warriors, they will believe that you have withdrawn or you want to withdraw from this war out of fear, that you are now afraid. You are talking so big about yourself that nobody can win against you the way you came and entered this war, and now the way you are behaving, people certainly will think that there is something wrong, that there was always a fear hidden in you, and that all this time it was only hypocrisy what you shown, and you certainly don't want people to think of you like that. So they will think that you are trying to withdraw from this war because of fear, and people will think very lightly, they will esteem you very lightly, and until now they have thought of you very high, but suddenly people will start criticizing you, and criticism, particularly for a man of honor, is not an acceptable thing. it would rather cause us depression and fear of moving in the middle of the society. अवाच्यवादांच बहून् वदिष्यन्ति तव अहिताः निन्दन्तः तव सामर्थ्यं ततः दुःखतरं नु किम्. Slok number 36, in which he again, Sri Krishna Bhagavan is trying to arouse in him the respect that he deserves and the respect that he had so far by saying that your enemies, people, we always have enemies who do not like us. Even the saints, we don't have enemies, but the fools always keep thinking that way. So says, your enemies, caviling at thy great power, they will speak evil words and will say things that are not utterable. What can be more intolerable than this for a man of honor? They might speak of things that you might be impotent, that you do not have the courage, and all these things you certainly would not want to hear in life. As a matter of fact, the same thing is applicable to all of us. If we do not heed to the advice that we heard in the last 3 discourses about our duties, and to maintain ourselves well and act like a human being or divine being, at least first become a human being by following the advice of Sri Krishna Bhagavan in the Gita, by proper eating and everything that we talked about, then we will be also someday looked upon like Arjun, that we, out of fear or out of ignorance or out of evil propensities, we withdrew from this war of fighting against vices, and because it's not easy to fight against the vices, we all know that. But we are brave, we have God within us to help us. I don't think that we should ever give up, no matter how the battle is tough. We can be a winner with God on our side. So I think that we want to always put ourselves properly in the same perspective as Arjun. The example is merely given to help us out, that this battle, that people think of it as real, and battles are real. Concern, and don't worry about Arjun. Arjun is gone, and all our ancestors are gone. They are not going to come back. But what they have left for us to meditate on, their experiences, is very important. The bodies come and go, as we already said, but the spiritual teachings, the divine teachings that we need to remember, they have left this thing for us to meditate and take advantage of it. So far then, Lord is trying to arouse in Arjun a desire to fight his weakness, to perform his duties, and we are also aroused to perform our duties, to restructure our life. It is little difficult to get up early morning, to sleep early, not to see useless shows at night in TV shows. All these habits that we may have to restructure, and it is difficult, but certainly we don't want to be lazy, sitting in the sofa hours and hours. We should be constantly working. There should be no need to lie down in the bed during the day, provided we are healthy, provided we eat right. Unfortunately, we don't, and that's why we create a need also to be more lazy. And so we eat bad, we become lazy, and so we are going in a reverse cycle, and that certainly is like a living death. So I think that we eat properly, we work properly, we will be more happy, we will have less need to see doctors or to fight the disease. We would be spending more time enjoying life than struggling to merely survive. So this is our purpose when Sri Krishna says, perform your duties. Now, the beautiful thing about Gita and this coming slok number 37, which I would like you to mark, Hata va prapsasi swargam, jitva va bhokshase mahim, tasmat uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krutanishchayaha. Now that Lord said, I have already told you what you need to do. He says that if supposing in this war, if you win, then you will attain heaven, and if you lose, I will send you to heaven, and if you win, then you will become the king of this world. You will have the kingdom. In either case, you are not going to be a loser. Therefore, it is better to resolve. Determine yourself. Decide for the sure that I am going to get up and fight. Resolve to fight, and for us, resolve to change our life for the better from this moment onwards. Forget the past. I have heard something new. I want to go ahead and get this Bhagavad Gita. I want to look at these references. And yes, these are the words of saints. These are the words of God. There is no better wisdom. All saints have said the same thing, that Gita is giving us this universal message. So, if I were you, I would just make a note and immediately acquire a book, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, start making notes, meditate on it, spend some time alone and sitting under a tree, or go to a park where nobody disturbs you, and you have got enough advice right now that you have been listening to these discourses for your own good, and start studying and going inward. This is the way you have to take action. Resolve, not simply listening. In religion, unfortunately, we believe that merely by going to temple and listening to lectures will do the job. Listening to a doctor does not remove your disease. No matter how good the doctor may be, and how good the prescription may be, and how good the diagnosis may be, you are still sick. Unless you take the medicine, unless you consume properly, and unless you remove your disease, you have not done the job. The job is not over. It is not done until it's done. The game is not won until it is won. Even if the last second you cannot predict that who is going to win. Similarly, in this battle, in this sport that we are playing, the game is not finished until it is finished. And when it is finished, when you have realized God, when you have become peaceful, when you have become joyous, when you have become fearless, when you have regained your real pristine self, that you are always part and parcel of God, but you had temporarily forgotten like Arjun. And here this reminder brings you your dignity, whether you are a man or a woman, wife or a daughter, whatever good or bad we may have done, or ignorant, or whatever position we may be, we have opportunity to regain our original self. So the main thing I think I find is people complain that yes, we know this, we know that, but we cannot practice. Well, that excuse is not going to work. If you do not practice, you are not going to get rid of the disease. So, time and again I hear from people who have been listening to me even more than 10 years say, yes, whatever you are saying is right, we agree, we know that, whatever little we have practiced, it has helped us, but again they say, but we cannot do this, we cannot come out of this, our addiction of stock market, or always pointing out to our wife or husband, or our bad habits of food and all, it is difficult. Well, of course it is difficult. The war is difficult. Nobody is telling you that it is easy. It is wrong if anybody has pampered you, anybody has put his hand on your head and say your work is done, or given you a mantra or ashes, it is nothing but ashes. Don't believe anything of this kind. It is superstition. You will have to understand this thing. It is scientific. It is an experience knowledge. Whether it's talking about body, whether it's talking about mind, whether you are talking about soul. Everything is experience. You have to experience. Simply listening and then discontinuing or finding excuses will not remove the disease. The choice is yours. The decision is yours. The life is yours. The life you may lose is yours and nobody else's. I think that these are the realities. If we really love each other, we must be very honest, very truthful, and we insist on the truth. Whether you practice or not, whether you can practice or not, or whether you want to practice or not, these are your choices. Arjuna has the same choices. Lord is merely advising. We are only trying to help you, because we would have naturally a good feeling that if I have found something good, I would like to share. Because God has given us so much love, so much peace, so much food, and so much of amenities in this world, because I'm sure He knew that if there are people, and doesn't matter how many people there are on the world, He has made provision. Look at mother. At the minute the child is born, mother has milk in her breast. Who has planned this thing? Who has made this provision? The child doesn't have to worry. Similarly, God has made provision for all of us, all creatures. And that is what he is telling us. Don't worry about overpopulation and what will happen. Just stop ruining the environment, stop overeating and this so-called luxury and comfort that not only ruins your life in the name of comfort. I wish those rich people who are sick would have not been rich, because richness has brought us more disease than happiness. That is why Gita really recommends moderation. And of course, if you have money, then try to use it for the good purpose. That will again bring you back to where we belong. The moderation, moderation in everything. Moderation in eating, moderation in talking, moderation in earnings, moderation in job, in everything. If you will use moderation, don't go extreme, I think you would have learned a lot from Gita, which is going to talk about moderation time and again, which I am trying to point out ahead of the time. So I think we have now come to a point where we can look back and see so far what God has already tried to tell us. I would say that from slok 11 to 25, Shri Krishna has pointed out the highest knowledge of Atman and the body. The discriminative knowledge is being told to us. Without knowledge, man is considered animal. The only difference between man and animal is that man has intelligence to know what is good for him, to choose what is good for him, and to renounce what is not good for him. The animals do not have as much opportunity, even though they are behaving much better than we do, but we have still an opportunity to advance way beyond the animal life into divine life. So slok 11 to 25 in chapter 2, we are given the highest knowledge, what we call Brahma Gyan. Slok 26 and 27 are purely materialistic attitude is given, so that you can understand that. And from slok 28 to 37, what we have been so far talking, that is an attitude of a man in the world. In other words, the last few sloks, which were I think again from 28 to 37, about 10 sloks, we have been talking the practicality of this dharma, the duty. Even if we don't understand Atman, we do understand our duties, everyday life, which we have talked in last few episodes. So this is being the summary of so far what we have talked, and from now onwards, at least from slok 38, we will be anticipating what we call karma yoga. So far we can say that we have been talking about Gyan Yoga or Sankhya Vidya, theoretical knowledge. Knowledge is the first prerogative of man. Before traveling, we need to know where we are going, how far it is, what is the direction, the maps we look at it, the preparation for the car, our own need for foods and rest and everything else. This is theory. But then after we have known everything, we start driving and journey, and then we will find out that how much we had prepared. As much as we have prepared, we will have less problem in the journey. Less we have prepared, more problems we have in journey. So now when we talk about Karma Yoga, we will be starting the journey, and we will be finding out what we have learned, how much truth there was, how much ignorant we were, or we didn't pay attention on the maps. Sometimes it happens, we say, well, we will look at the map while we are traveling. That is not right. I have seen people don't pay attention to go through all your needs before you start traveling, so that you don't have to look at the map while you are traveling. It is the same thing. When you go to work, you pay attention to work and don't think of the theory. When you are eating, eat properly. Don't think about anything. Proper eating is meditating on God. but we don't do that. Sometimes we talk and the food is stuck sometimes in our throat because our mind was somewhere else. We cannot process the food. Our organs don't work right, so that unfortunately tells us that our mind is split. We are not even enjoying food. Sometimes we don't even know what we have eaten. So these are some of the things that now we will be talking about from Slok 38. Again, as I said, so far what we have talked is a very appropriate thing. Knowledge comes first, preparation for war comes first, and then the war. The war has not begun yet, but preparation of war, why we should fight, is all being explained in Gita. I think there is a question we may want to listen to. Yes.
Can you talk about meditation and what is meditation?
The question is, what about meditation? Well, I think that subject should be brought about after Karma Yoga in Gita. It does come in the 6th chapter, and I hope to touch on that subject after we have gone through these duties and Karma Yoga. Meditation is one of the very important field. We understand so little. It has become a big business in this country that they have started classes. Meditation has nothing to do with the classes and instructions. It is going inwards. And to go inwards, first and foremost, is perform your duties right. Once you have performed your duties right, then we will be prepared or ready to think about meditation and what really meditation is. Meditation will be a gift of God given to us when we have performed our duties right. It will be automatic, and there will be a lot of confusion that has been created because the people who are after this have made a business not only of meditation but also of yoga. In this country particularly, everything is turned into business, and even spirituality someday will be turned into business. It is actually. All these dharma gurus and these religious gurus have already made religion as a business. Meditation can be business, and that is why we will have 3 kinds of meditation: tamasic meditation, rajasic meditation, sattvic meditation, and the 4th is the real meditation. And I think we'll be talking about it. But a person who does not eat right, whatever type of food he is eating, that is the type of meditation he is doing. So if he is eating stink food or the cooked food which was 3 days before, then no matter how much he is meditating, he is in that tamasic mode, and his meditation is tamasic. So if we can understand that much, that meditation has 4 categories, and depending on the nature of the person, what the attitude, his goal for meditation, then we will know that what is going on. And usually it is nothing but physical benefit so that you can have more pleasures again. There are a lot of misunderstanding that we will be touching that subject later on when we talk about meditation. We have a whole chapter 6 where we will be talking about the requirements, yama and niyama. Let me say first one thing, that if you want to meditate, first and foremost is practice of yama and niyama. I have mentioned those virtues, the moral virtues. Without that, talking about meditation is like trying to drive a car without gas, and that will not work. So I think that we will keep a hold on that topic, and at an appropriate time we will talk more about what Sri Krishna himself has to say about meditation. One of the things I like to point out is that whatever we are talking about is what Sri Krishna Bhagavan is talking, or to me what Mirabai has taught me, but these are their words. I am only trying and struggling to put in a present day language so that we understand what they meant. Their language was different, our language and our present day needs, but the fundamental desire and need for love, for peace and for joy remains the same. So our effort is to present what they have said, because truth is as ancient as hills or mountains. Truth is not new. I have not discovered something new. It has always been discovered by the saints. God has already put it from the day one when He created this thing. We are not finding anything new. We don't want to claim anything that we have dug out as a diamond from the mines. It has been in front of us. It does not belong to anybody. It is right of all of us, God has given us, and it is your privilege simply to take advantage of it, that it is your property, it is God's property, it is nobody's, what we call, I think, what do we say? It is a privilege or a
Trademark.
trademark. Yeah, it is not a trademark of any person or any religion or any guru to say that this is it, and yet we have trademarks all around. That is why we were talking about these different religions, like frogs in wells. They have put trademarks. That's why I call them cults. All religions, major religions, have also become cults and trademarks. So don't believe in trademarks. You have a right. It is your privilege. It is God who is our Father. He has given to us who are His children, and you have same privilege, and you own it as much as anybody else. Nobody has special prerogatives in spirituality. Religion, of course, is a different game. It is a business. So this knowledge then is your prerogative. It is yours to take, but then you will have to make efforts, and it will not be given to you as a gift until you have made efforts of discipline. A price that we must pay. There is no free lunch, as we have said, and the price that we have to pay is discipline. Without discipline in life, nothing will be achieved. Discipline is good for us. To drive on the highway with discipline is to avoid accidents. To live a life with discipline is not to constrain our freedom, but to give us more freedom, so that you will have less accident and more joy. People are afraid when we talk about surrender. Surrender means discipline. Actually, surrendering means to listen to God and do what God says. And yet we, out of pride and vanity and arrogance, don't understand all these things. Child do not like discipline, and so he gets in trouble. Mother tries to discipline him so that he will be in less trouble and more happiness in doing things what he is doing. But ignorance can put us in trouble and burn us. So, when we talk about spirituality and a good life, the price we must pay is to discipline our life. That is the price. If anybody is talking about money and membership and all these things, that is not required at all. That is not the discipline. You can do it yourself. Gita is already your guide and guru. Mahatma Gandhi said, "She is my mother, my guru." To me, Meera is my guide. She is my mother. She is love. She is eternal. She is God. Whatever I want to call, and you have the same privilege with whatever saint or whoever saint that you choose. It is love that we are all after, and Gita is our mother. She is never going to leave us. She is the eternal mother, spiritual mother. We cannot trust our physical mother because she has no choice. She may pass away, like my mother passed away as I was very young, about 3 year old. So physically we cannot depend on anybody. It is not that we love to do it, but this is what happens. But Gita, spirituality, and the saints, they never die. They are always with us. So we can trust Gita and always keep her with us like a child would cling to mother. I think that we should cling to saints, we should cling to truth, we should cling to love, and that is what we are talking about when we say Mira Gita, or we are talking about expounding Gita and giving examples of life of Mira. I think we are trying to make everything as simple as possible. We are not trying to create anything that to constrain you or to take away your liberty. You have your freedom to choose. That's why Hindu Dharma has given us Ishtadev. Each one of us can have our own Ishtadev, whatever the name, whatever the form. It does not matter. What does matter are the principles. And it is a principle that every religious prophet has taught. There is nothing new. Gita is saying the same thing as Bible is saying in a different form, or Quran. And so we should try to get to the truth. Just like in cows we are looking for milk. Similarly, we should be looking for milk of love. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.